What the hell? Oh yeah!
Alright, welcome to the No More Heroes review. Heroes were no more, all the heroes
Yeah,
no more.
this was a pretty exciting show here.
It was funny as hell. I had mad fun.
Yeah, that show it was fun. A lot of weird shit, but a lot of funny shit as well. Oh,
I can't wait to talk about the Del Rio match.
I'm eating some good ass hot fries right now, so
Yeah, of course he doesn't share again.
you should have
Bastard bully.
brought your own hot fries, all right? All right.
I'm on a diet.
What?
I'm on a diet.
What kind of diet?
A pussy diet. Alright, so the first match was Dan Mendel versus Matthew Captain Marvel's Alert. It was a nice back and forth match, zombie roleplay.
What?
What?
What are you
Okay.
talking about?
So the first match was Rey Mysterio and Edge versus the Hardy Boys in a TLC ladder match. That was it. No, I'm kidding. So the match started, and Edge was like, "Remember when I stole your bitch?" and smiled at Matt Hardy.
That was funny. That was funny.
And then Jeff and Ray were going at it. And then throughout the match, it was a nice little match to start off the show. They were going back and forth. Edge and Rey Mysterio really showed up in their return matches.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't their first match back, but this was their first pay-per-view match back, and they were a good tag team. And there was some good moments. Matt Hardy randomly yelling at Edge through the match, and the Matt Hardy threw a chair at Edge's face, and Edge caught the chair and swung it at Matt, and then Matt ducked, and then Edge fell on his face. But yeah, it was a really good match, honestly. It wasn't too much, it wasn't too little, but at the end of the day, Harley came in the ring and fucked up Edge and Ray, and then Matt Hardy pulled down the contract.
I was kind of sad that Ray lost.
Wait, Jeff Hardy pulled down the contract. My bad.
I thought it was a pretty good TLC match, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was cool. It was back and forth. Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy now have a shot at the tag team titles at the Royal Rumble versus a team that will be announced later in the review, which you all watched. Yeah, and then we came back from commercial, and Edge was frustrated, and then Ray said he was sorry, and then Edge hugs Ray and kisses him on the lips and kissed him deeply in passion. And Edge said it was okay. Ray said you beat it, and then Edge said yes. Ray hugs Edge. Edge hugs Ray back, and then Ray said, "We'll get those titles, don't worry." And then Edge said, "Yeah, man, we definitely will. Hey, can I get another?" He said, "Fuck you, fuck your fucking Mexican ass. I can't stand Mexican." And then Edge said, "You look like fruit." How do you look like fruit? You can smell like fruit and taste like fruit, but how do you look like fruit? You look like a damn jalapeno stick. And then, oh my God, Ray like looked at Edge with a Ray face, and then Edge speared Ray, and Ray died. And that was it. What did you think about the match and the after segment?
Like I said, oh, these hot fries are hot, man. Woo! Some Batista, bro. All right. All right. All right. Woo! 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 Okay. So yeah, I thought the match was good.
Alan's on.
Alan's here.
Yeah.
Did you text him? Tell him to get in this room right now. What is he doing?
All right. I did.
Bam. Rent out a hotel room for the three of us. He never even shows up. All right. So like I said, thought the match was good. Give it a 3 out of 5. The best way to open the show is with an exciting match like this. Rey Mysterio looked really good.
Yeah, he did. He looks better.
Yeah, I was talking to Ray backstage, and he was like, he was worried about ring rust, and like he was worried that he might be slower than he was, in these kind of matches. I was like, nah, man, you got this, amigo. I give him a slap on the ass. You got this, Vato. You got this, SA. He was like, all right, man, relax. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry, Ray. I didn't mean all that, man. So I did take a little step back. Ray kind of looked at me funny, walked away. But I was right. Wasn't I right? Well, after I saw Ray backstage, I was like, I was right, dude. You haven't lost a step, man, because you're one of the most naturally gifted, most natural,
You okay?
most naturally gifted athletes. And he's like 40 something now, almost 50, and he's still doing good. I thought he really shined in this match. Matt and Jeff look really good. Matt Hardy's kind of weird. He's kind of funky. He's always in character, so I kind of avoided him backstage. What?
Rey Mysterio is 43.
He's 43? Oh.
And Edge is 44.
Oh, my God. They look good for 43 and 44. Edge was looking fine out there, man. He was looking like a whole snack. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, 3 out of 5 match. Very good. The after match, I thought it was kind of funny that Edge kissed Ray. I didn't know if he had to do all that. Kissed him on the lips and everything, and it was acting all drunk, and then I guess gave him a little spear. Really good. Oh shit. And whoo. All right.
What is going on with you?
Oh man, you know what I'm saying? But oh shit. All right. So, the hell was that?
That was a good thing. Song.
Um.
Add Alan to the Skype call.
I just added him.
Okay.
He's not even on. Where is he?
Wait, what? Wait, Alan joined.
Why is he not with us in this room right now?
Making him install it for no reason. Oh well. He'll be here soon, guys. I thought the match was great.
Yeah.
It was a good tag match with a bunch of old legends to be.
Yeah.
Ray looked good. Edge was a little funny. Matt and Jeff were good. Good to see them get a shot at the tag team titles again. And we'll see what happens with Edge and Ray. I think this will be a great feud.
I agree. I like.
They haven't wrestled since RP season 1, so I think it'll be good to see them wrestle again. Because I think they wrestled at WrestleMania 1.
What, Edge and Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also wrestled in a cage match in season 3 or 4 or something like that.
Alan!
Hello.
You just walked into the middle of the review. What is going on?
Oh shit.
Where were you?
I'm right here, man.
All right. Well, where were you before you came here in this hotel room?
I was a ghost.
You were a ghost. What does that mean?
It means I was invisible to the naked eye.
No, you're gonna have to answer that question like a normal person would answer the fucking question.
Actually, I was not in the hotel room.
Why? What were you doing? Having sex?
I was getting a little drunk.
All right, man. All right, we're gonna we already reviewed the first match, so we'll just skip that. Let's
No,
go.
we can get Alan's opinion on it.
What, the tag match?
Yeah.
What'd you think of the TLC match, Alan?
TLC match, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, it was like a lot of back and forth action. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah. Okay. There, you got his opinion on it. Can we move on? Dumbass.
No, we didn't get Bruce Blitz's opinion. No, I'm just joking. He's
Oh
not,
my god.
he's not,
What?
not here. He's not here. Okay, the next match was, or the next little doohickey, Dicky and my slogan. It was Brian Kendrick versus The Miz. So the current storyline is Miz and Morrison are kind of beefing a little bit. Miz walks out, and then Brian Kendrick walked out and attacked The Miz with punches.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick Lamar joined at commentary. Brian Kendrick gave Miz a clothesline over the ropes. Miz lands on the apron. I thought that was a good little thing there. And then Miz got back in the ring and speared Kendrick. I thought Miz performed that spear pretty well. Miz started punching him and shit.
I thought it looked sloppy.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I thought it looked sloppy.
And then Morrison got on the apron. Or no, he ran down the ring to the ring and slid in. And then Kendrick gave Miz the Hendrick and then pinned him as Morrison kind of distracted the Miz. And then Brian Kendrick wins the match. And then Morrison and Miz are in the ring. And then they look pissed as we go to commercial. And then as I scroll up down my notes here, the Miz comes out of nowhere and gives John Morrison a skull crushing finale. And then Miz looks down at Morrison, all mad. And then Joey Mercury comes out of nowhere and beats the shit out of Miz. And then we go to commercial.
Can't believe he's back.
Right, we haven't seen him in a while.
I know.
What did you think about the match, Aaron?
I know. Woo! Oh yeah. This hot fries, baby. Woo! Woo!
Alan, take those damn fries away from him. He's gonna.
I gotta take this prize, man. Gotta take him away.
Woo! All right, you can take it. I'm good. The match was hella fine, bro. That match was hella fine, man. I was like, I've never been a big fan of the Miz's work, and people think me and the Miz have like a beef. Fact is, I'm still a fan, all right. And I just don't like the way the Miz works, all right. So I thought the match was okay. I thought the match was fine, but to be honest with you, the Miz just isn't a good worker. I think Brian Kendrick was the star in this match, man. I think he just came back, He's been doing good work. He's been shining like he used to. And I don't think he's one of the most underrated talents of this generation. Our last generation, whatever generation he was in. You know what I'm saying? And, I thought that this is good for Brian Kendrick. He needs to get a footing, get his foot back in the door, in the mid-card door, If anyone deserves to be one of the leaders of the mid-card, it's Brian Kendrick. Because he has it all, man. He has style. He has the mic. He has the charisma. He has the in-ring work. And I'm a big fan of Brian Kendrick, all right? And I would congratulate him after this match, man. I was like, you did really good. You did really good out there, Look forward to seeing more of your work. If you guys are wondering, yeah, I do just walk around backstage the whole show, talking to people and annoying people before and after their matches. And, I told Miz straight up, I was like, man, you need to really improve your in-ring work because you are not that good. And he looked at me for a few minutes. He didn't say nothing, and he walked away. And I was like, hey, man, the truth hurts. You know what I'm saying? And R-Truth came up to me. He was like, "I second that, brother." And me and R-Truth, we did a handshake. And where was I going with this story? Yeah, I thought it was a good match. R-Truth did. Brian Kendrick did really well. And I give it a 5 out of 5. And good match and shit. So yeah. Well, what about you, Alan? Huh? Come on, Dad. Come on, Daddy. Yo, let's go.
Well, for the Brian Kendrick, this was a pretty big win for him. Versus a win with a former world champion, intercontinental champion, just everything, tag team champion. This will definitely go a long ways for his run here this time around. A lot of good action, and I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
All right. I like that.
I thought the match was good. I think it was a little short. Thought it could have been longer. I thought both of them could have been given a little more time. But yeah, Brian Kendrick picking up the win, I thought was right here. Joey Mercury returning, I thought was great. We haven't seen him since season 2, I think. Yeah, we haven't seen him since season 2, where he was the WWE champion after all, and then he just slipped under the radar again because of certain backstage politics, and then now he's back, and we'll see where he goes. He didn't leave the company on the wrong foot, obviously. So yeah, we'll see how this whole new storyline goes. I think it'll be decent exposure for all of them. Yeah, that was that. I'll give the match 3 out of 5.
All right.
Okay. Alberto Del Rio versus MVP versus Jack Swagger versus Ellis. Oh my.
Where did you even start with this?
Alright, so the match started out as a fatal 4-way, but Ellis came out and said that he was suing the WWE or Raw, or hold on, let me look at my notes here. Let me flip through the pages. So he came out and then he said he was suing he was suing the Raw brand. My bad. He was suing the Raw brand, and then Alberto Del Rio was in the ring agreeing with him, even though Ellis came out with a burning United States and Mexico flag. So I don't know what that was about. And then Eric Bischoff comes out and says Ellis will compete or he's going to be fired.
All right,
And then
I got my high C. Sorry, guys. I'm back.
And then Ellis said that he's quitting anyway. So Eric Bischoff rips up his contract right there.
Oh my God! It doesn't have the straw.
They messed up.
And then JBL went to give Ellis a clothesline from hell. And then Alberto Del Rio, for some reason, put him in a cross arm breaker. And then Ellis left. And then out comes Heath Slater to replace him. And all of a sudden, Chavo Guerrero clotheslines Heath Slater from behind. And Slater dies. Chavo looks down at Slater and says, El Estriblio es muy pegajoso, pero la estrofa es medio aburrida. Vete el éxito del verano. And then everyone was watching and looking at Chavo all weirdly. Chavo had a Hayden attire on. And then the bell rang and everyone started fighting, but then Jinder Mahal came and attacked Chavo Guerrero from behind. Chavo died before he could even get in the ring. And then Jinder and Alberto Del Rio jumped Chavo. Jinder Mahal joins Alberto Del Rio's Latin Thugs gang. And then Jinder tosses Heath Slater in the ring. And then they all fight. Alberto Del Rio was speaking Arabic to Jinder. And you can tell where this match is going. It's a pretty comedy kind of match. And so yeah, they all fought, and then JR looked very pissed because Jack Swagger bounced Heath Slater's head off of the announce table, and JR was sick of moving, and this is only the second match. So MVP gives Alberto Del Rio a nipple twist, and then Alberto Del Rio gives him a headbutt, and then MVP flies out of the ring with an apparent concussion, and then Super Crazy and Psychosis jump MVP. And then Jinder Mahal starts attacking Super Crazy and Psychosis. So never mind, he's not in the Latin thugs. And then Jinder screamed that he was a Canadian Indian. And so that all happens, and then the Godfather runs down. Slater tries to pin MVP, and then Godfather breaks up the pin, and then gives him a tombstone Godfather driver. And then Del Rio pins Slater, but Bruce Blitz slides in the ring and spears Godfather. And then he breaks up the pin. Blitz picks up Alberto Del Rio and then stunners him, but then is pushed away. And then Wrestling Jesus appears in the ring and starts punching Bruce Blitz. Bruce Blitz tells Alberto Del Rio he loves him. Alberto Del Rio super kicks Wrestling Jesus, Godfather, and Bruce Blitz back to back. And then they all die, and then Hitler runs down, or what appears to be Hitler.
What were you thinking with this match?
And Hugo Chavez rolls in the ring. And Jeff Gordon comes to the ring. Meanwhile, Hitler is followed by Stalin, and they're pretty good imposters, I'd say. Whoever did the makeup on those guys is great. So Jeff Gordon smiles at Alberto Del Rio and hits him with a road rage, a spinning sit-out pile driver. I didn't even think Jeff Gordon could even do something like that. MVP goes to roll up Jack Swagger, and then Hitler grabs MVP. And then Heath Slater starts beating up everybody. And then Hitler gives MVP a code breaker. And as MVP's about to die, Joseph Stalin gives him a Mother Russia. And then Del Rio out of nowhere rolls up MVP and wins the match. And the bell rings. Alberto Del Rio is still the United States champion. And that's that. And then it was confirmed on WWE.com that Jeff Gordon, imposter Hitler, and imposter Stalin are signed to a WWE contract. I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. That was like the best match of the year so far. The chemistry was insane. The storytelling was so great. Like the return of Hitler. Like he was in exile since 1945. He decided, if I'm gonna make my return, it's gonna be in the WWE. And then he brought Stalin with him. Stalin kind of fell off the map too. I think this is really be their redemption storyline for these two. And they could really take over the world again, which is fine by me. So I thought that part was good. Heath Slater, Heath Slater's kind of a deep character. If you guys don't understand, like his father abused him and shit. Like that's his storyline, and he's just trying to make a name for himself. What?
Wait, who?
Jeff Gordon. So Jeff Gordon was just trying to make a name for himself out there.
No. What?
A lot of back and forth action between all these athletes in the ring, and what it was, match of the year candidate right here. I'm really proud of what everybody did. I'm really proud of all my boys out there. Can't wait to see what Jeff Gordon does. Probably in WWE title reign is in his future. Hopefully this season. And yeah.
What do you before.
And so, yeah, go ahead, Alan.
Well, this one, where do I even begin with this one? I think that there was a lot of good action going on in the match. I mean, all the other like really like put it in some. Where am I even going with this, man? Uh, uh, it was good in its own way, so I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Good rating.
Oh man, this match was it was really a jalapeno sandwich. So many people in one ring. I thought it was hilarious. Alberto Del Rio still winning. He didn't get fucked over by any of the fools. Jeff Gordon delivering a it was great. I don't know why there's an imposter Hitler or an imposter Stalin, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I like the way Raw is being booked. This is great. This is good TV. I'll say that. As for the match, I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5, but it was great. It was great. Ah, whew. Okay, whatever happened to all the heroes?
Whatever happened to the hero?
And now we got our first major match, which happened kind of early in the day, in the night. Drew McIntyre versus Alex Riley in a last man standing match for the King of the Ring Championship, and the loser would be forced to leave Raw. I thought it was a great match, actually a very good match. Drew McIntyre and Alex Riley seem to be back with a, kind of a burning desire to get what they want.
Yeah, you want me to go over the match for you?
If you want to, yeah.
Okay. I'll try. So this microphone doesn't make too much noise. If it is, I'm sorry, you guys just have to deal with it. All right.
Eat a dick. Ah.
Just gonna scroll up on my notes here. I did not mean to do that. Okay, so yeah, Matt starts out. Alex Riley gets a pretty lit entrance. I liked his attire, that red hood attire. Obviously it's not led by Butch, but it's still the red hood. Drew McIntyre came out next. His entrance was pretty damn G as well. So the match started up. Drew was looking for a lockup. Then Alex Riley was like, "Oh no!" He gets him into a headlock. They start doing some, little grappling here. But Drew McIntyre gets an early belly to back suplex, and A-Ride takes it. And they were building this storyline where, A-Ride, does he have the ring rust and all that, since he hasn't really fought at all in like 2 years. So yeah, there's a lot of, taunting here, a lot of slow build. Alex Riley gives some really stiff chops to Drew McIntyre for whatever reason that is. I don't know if this was like a legit thing between these two, but yeah, Alex Riley was really laying into them because those looked real. And I've been chopped before. Those were some real ass chops, niggas. Oh my dudes.
Hey!
So yeah, you can actually see Drew McIntyre's skin start to bleed, guys, and that was, kind of made my skin, feel a little weird. You know those movies when you see someone get kicked in the balls, and kind of makes your balls feel weird. Am I the only one like that?
You're the only one.
I'm the only one, for real.
Yeah, you're the only one.
Damn. All right. Well, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, it was kind of felt. Whew, I saw Drew backstage after this match, and his chest was leaking. It was leaking. I didn't want to get hepatitis C or anything, so I stayed clear from him.
Oh wow.
So yeah, they go at it. Some really stiff shots here. Drew goes for now a belly to belly. Alex Riley takes it. Alex Riley looks like he's out of his element here. Of course, in kayfabe. I think he did really well in the match itself. Drew McIntyre with a dive. Always nice to see Drew McIntyre go up. soar through the air. Drew was working the crowd. He was working Drew. He was working A-Rise. Rolled in and pinned Alex on accident because I guess he forgot it was a it was a last man standing match. So yeah, Alex Riley takes this as an opportunity to go like, what the f, he went into the apron, did a springboard senton onto Drew. Um, Drew's out. A-Ride with some stomps in the corner. He stomps him in his chest, the same chest that was already like red. So now it's like hot red now, and that was brutal to see. It was like watching some Japanese death match. Yep, A-Ride now. Damn, I almost said Daniel Bryan. Drew McIntyre slingshots him into the corner. A-Ride jumps on the top turnbuckle. He almost falls off, and then fucking Drew hits him with a really pitch perfect inverted Alabama slam. I thought he almost killed him. It looked so good. 6 count. Alex Riley gets up. Right. A little resting period here for everybody. For Drew, for A-Rod. Little resting period. Then, A-Rod bum rushes Drew into the corner. Obviously trying to slow him down and work him up a little bit. Drew McIntyre tries to turn this into a future shock DDT. But Alex Riley gets out of it, goes back into the corner, some more staring off. Then Drew McIntyre starts stomping the hell out of Alex Riley's chest. And Drew is doing exactly what Alex Riley did to him before. So now Alex Riley's chest is all messed up. That's what I'm saying. If you guys didn't want to contract hepatitis C, you should have had to, stay clear of him. All right. So some more back and forth action here between the two of them. Brutal back and forth action. Brutal. More counting by Chad Snyguy. JR started going on a rant about America and Donald Trump and went in on Hillary Clinton and libtards and kind of funny. Drew with a stiff punch. Drew with some really stiff snuffs to the face. Drew and Alex Riley start chopping each other, and these chops are and then Drew gives him one of the stiffest headbutts I've seen since Shibata's match with Anthony. It was I could hear the skull cracking. And then Drew takes this opportunity to hit him with Alex Riley with a Claymore, and that was the end of the match, and Drew won. It was a pretty intense match, back and forth action. Both guys really in their element here. Nice story, nice storytelling. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. It was really that good. A really good match. It's good to see Drew back working main event level matches like we know he can. I hope he sticks around this time, and I hope he has a really good run this time. Cause I really want him to be WWE champion this time. So yeah, what did you think of the match? Hey guy, Hayden, WWE.
It was, like you said, it was intense. They made it really look like they hated each other. And this was such a short feud, but such a great feud. I think this was one of those quality over quantity type things.
Right.
And yeah, Drew McIntyre and Alex Riley, they both seem to be back on a mission. I thought Alex Riley's really good. I think he's better this time around than last time, if we're just basing it off of this match. And now he's going to get to go on to SmackDown and showcase his talents without being on this crazy Raw that's starting to really take shape. But yeah, I think Drew McIntyre keeping the championship was the right move. He can get a shot at the WWE title still. Alex Riley, it would have been good if either one of them won, but I think Alex Riley should start back out on SmackDown, and Drew McIntyre should keep the King of the Ring championship. I thought it was right. I thought the match was good. 5 out of 5 for me.
Alan?
I really love this match. This was one of my favorite matches of the night. They really went out there and they put their all into this match. Really back. This guy doing the guy doing that. They brought it all out. Drew McIntyre never lost a step since he's been back. Alex Riley hasn't lost a step since he's been gone. Uh, each of the person give it their all, and for that, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 as well.
All right, so everybody gave it a 5 out of 5. So yeah, I really thought it was that good of a match. Like I said, it's really good to be seeing Drew working back in his element, and he's doing really good. So I hope he keeps up to
It
the
was
work.
really good for a last man standing match. We haven't seen a
Really
last man standing match in a little bit,
Right? We barely see him anymore.
but so I thought it was a good return for that match.
Oh, you know what? Last man standing matches are usually grudge matches, so it works. The next
All right,
match.
then we got a video clip that Anthony Snyder or Anthony Chandler produced towards Allen. Let's give it a little listen here.
Why don't you go suck his ass? Suck all the shit out of his fucking
Okay.
and shut the fuck up.
Done with all that.
Go suck his ass. Suck all the shit out of his fucking colon and shut the fuck up.
Oh god.
Why don't you go
Okay. So Anthony Chandler paid for that to appear on the pay-per-view, and then we got a close-up of Allen outside of the arena, pissed off at that because he was watching via the WWE network. And yeah, so that happened. And then we go to the next match, which is Conor McGregor versus Daniel Bryan. Oh my god, this was another good match. A lot of shit happened during this match. It's not loading the comments. Come on. Facebook's been acting shitty lately.
Right?
Never leaving my notes on here again. Fucking hell, man. Why is it taking forever to load? Okay, regardless, the stipulation of the match was Daniel Bryan couldn't do any of his painful submissions or any painful strikes to Conor McGregor, which left him kind of handicapped because Daniel Bryan wins all of his matches with submissions. So that started a dilemma. So throughout the most of the match, it was basically Daniel Bryan fighting the will to do something like that to Conor McGregor. Well, Conor McGregor was basically the simple Conor McGregor. He came down with the Irish flag. He got a huge reaction because, there's a lot of Conor McGregor fans in this world. Chad Snyder was the referee for some reason. So when you see Chad Snyder as a referee, knowing everything you know about the current dilemma that Daniel Bryan is facing, you had to know that something was going to happen because Anthony Chandler there does not like any of the Snyders. So that happens, and then Conor McGregor pulls his good old move where he puts his arms behind his back, puts his chin out so that Daniel Bryan can strike him. And then Daniel Bryan's not that dumb. He tells him a whole speech about how he's not dumb. And then McGregor just comes out swinging, and Daniel Bryan, he really looked like he was out of it already. Those jabs from McGregor were really getting him. So then Daniel Bryan gave him a suplex, and then he gave him a bunch of moves, slapped him on the back of the head like a true heel. So now we can definitely tell the path that Daniel Bryan is going down. And then, so Daniel Bryan's pretty much a heel now. We can see that in this match. We didn't know what was going to happen, but now we know for sure. So then Daniel Bryan was wrestling around with him, and then Conor McGregor, does his taunting. He did the beautiful Vince McMahon strut after he gave him a roundhouse kick, or as I like to call it, the roadhouse kick. And then Daniel Bryan, we continue to get these close-ups on his face for some reason, and he looks internally battling with himself. McGregor at this point is just beating the shit out of Daniel Bryan. And then Daniel Bryan comes out of nowhere with a fisherman DDT into the turnbuckle. And then, but McGregor, he reverses it and makes Daniel Bryan fall onto his ass. And then all of a sudden, he gives him a rites of passage. Daniel Bryan does. And then Daniel Bryan, who's he? Oh yeah, Conor McGregor. Who he was facing for a second. McGregor kicks out. Daniel Bryan can't believe it, but he quickly got up, put his head between his thighs, and then went for a Gotch pile driver. But McGregor again reverses and gave him a Alabama slam, which looked really good for someone like McGregor, who's small, but he delivered. He delivered the move greatly. He would make Hardcore Holly proud. And then all of a sudden, he punches Daniel Bryan in the gut, and then Daniel Bryan just like crashes to the mat. And then JR starts ranting on commentary, and then Jerry Lawler starts talking about Stacy Keibler, and Alex Jones and Bruce Blitz start talking about real fighting, and you know how Alex Jones gets and Bruce Blitz gets. And then Daniel Bryan at this point is just getting picked apart by Conor. This was just the whole match. Conor was beating the shit out of him. Daniel Bryan was really trying to counter with moves that he was allowed to do. And then he got apparently some flashback plays of him and Miz on Raw. And I think that was just a botch, but we don't know what the camera crew does nowadays. But Daniel Bryan is just getting destroyed. And then accidentally, there's a fan in the crowd. There's a fan in the crowd with a sign that reads Roman Reigns versus the Cartel. And the camera like zooms in on that and then zooms away. Connor tries to get Daniel Bryan into an arm breaker, which fails as Daniel Bryan gets him into a roll-up pin, and he pulls the trunks. McGregor still kicks out, which I thought was interesting. I thought that was it right there. And then all of a sudden, Daniel Bryan gives him a hell of a DDT, and then starts to yell at Conor McGregor while Conor McGregor lays there on the mat. Daniel Bryan pins him, and then kicks out. And then one of Connor's entourage pulls Chad out of the ring. Chad lands on his feet and turns to the guy and says, "What the bleep are you doing?" And then Daniel looks at everything that's going on, and then he just like he bolts at the ropes to suicide dive, and then kills everybody. And Chad had his back turned, and he gets knocked out, which ends up happening and sets up for whatever happens next. And then Daniel stands up and he looks that Chad is out. He slides in the ring, and then the crowd chants, "You're going to get your fucking head kicked in," which sounded so awkward because that's a lot of things to say for one chant. And Daniel Bryan, he was looking around as if, the typical thing when the ref is down, looking around to see what he can get away with. JR and Jerry, they start going off about Daniel Bryan needing a miracle. And then all of a sudden, Connor gets back into the ring. Or wait, hold on. Yeah, he licks his lips and Connor ties his arms around his back, and then Daniel Bryan kicks his head, which wouldn't get him DQ'd because Chad is knocked out. And then JR with his signature going hoot and hollering. That happens. And then Chad starts to come to, and then Antonio Snyder comes out of nowhere, and he basically tells Chad to throw the rule book out of the window. I don't know why I can't pronounce window today. And then so that goes on, and then he stays at ringside to make sure the entourage doesn't interfere. JR, he's flipping out. Jerry's flipping out. Bruce is flipping out. And Alex Jones goes off about a conspiracy going on, and the Snyders and Anthony Chandler not really being able to run the WWE correctly. And then Daniel Bryan just gives Anthony Chandler. He gives Conor McGregor the rapid basement elbow strikes, and Daniel Bryan wins the match. So yeah, that's that. Well, he knocked out Conor McGregor. I don't know why I keep forgetting. He knocked out Conor McGregor with a surfboard dragon sleeper, and then that was that match. So that was a lot to say. I need a drink of water. So what did you think about the match, Aaron?
Yeah, like I said, pretty good match. Match was really intense. The storytelling was really good. Kind of left you on the edge of your seat as to what was going to happen. You know, could Daniel Bryan do this? You can tell that Daniel Bryan was really having a hard time. Not trying to just punch Connor in the face and end it right there, or give him a kick to the head. I thought Connor did very good. You know, working with Daniel Bryan. I kind of want to see them like fight like in an actual, Daniel Bryan can do everything match, an actual, unsanctioned match.
That would be great.
So I think
That would be.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good match. Because if this was any indicator, then that match would blow it all out of the water. So this match was really good. Every punch looked so real. Every punch that Conor McGregor hit looked so freaking real. I like the post-match promo. I like the ending. I like the finish, first of all. I like the post-match promo. If Daniel Bryan calling out Anthony Chandler. Daniel Bryan was playing no games, saying you fucked with the wrong guy. AC was standing next to me backstage and laughing the whole time at this promo for some reason. I don't know why. I give the match a 4 out of 5. That was really, really good. Really good match.
You stole the rating I was going to give the match. God damn it.
Shut up, fat ass.
Wow. Okay, thanks.
What did you think, Alan?
I enjoyed the match. Daniel Bryan proved that even like in the long range of the match, he was able to fight Conor McGregor without really doing his stiff punches and kicks, submissions, until the end of the match where Chad threw out the rule book and said, "Fuck it, go ahead and put him in it." Conor McGregor has been an unstoppable champion until this very moment, and I think that this feud is not over yet, in my view. And I think there's a lot of good things coming in Daniel Bryan's future because he's just one of those people that will really just mess your life up if he had the chance to hit you with those stiff hits. I mean, trust me, I felt those hits. I know what they're about.
You felt every bit, you old ass fuck.
Yeah, I felt everybody's hits at this point. But I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
All right, I thought the match was great. Very good storytelling by Daniel Bryan. Like Drew McIntyre and like Alex Riley, he seems to be back on a mission. He seems a little more aggressive, more pep in his step. He's actually quite useful now. He can still deliver a kick like the best of them. I thought I also agree with you guys when I think that this rivalry shouldn't be over. And Antonio Snyder being involved, I think that's a nice little card in the mix there. Antonio Snyder and Conor McGregor's feud. And yeah, that was that. I thought it was, I'll give it a 4.1 out of 5 because I like to be original. And yeah, good match.
All right. What was the next match?
All right, so this next match was for the tag team championships. It was Kenshi and Big Z versus Kevin Nash and JBL. Kenshi and Jay Z were Jay Z. Wait. Oh yeah, good commentary on the last match as well. I forgot to mention that. Anyway, Big Z and Kenshi versus JBL and Kevin Nash. So JBL and Nash come out. The other two are already in the ring. JBL gets into the center of the ring and yells at Kenshi and says, "Suck my dick." Kenshi, He said it like, "Suck my dick." That's how he said it. So Kenshin didn't like that, and then he went to punch JBL, and JBL ducks under it and gave him a clothesline from hell and pinned him 1, 2, 3. And in 17 seconds, JBL and Kevin Nash are the new tag team champions. Kevin Nash says, "Free my nigga, the Big Show. The pig's got him." That was the match. What do you think, Aaron?
I,
All right. Yeah, 5 out of 5. What do you think, Alan?
well, there's not really much to say about this match, so I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 as well.
All right, so I never really liked Kenshi and Big Z, so I'm glad the title's off them. JBL and Nash is a random tag team, which I really like. JBL being on the NBO. The end. Why am I mispronouncing shit?
The
The new Mitch order? No, I'm kidding. Kevin Nash and JBL being tag team champions is great. JBL being a part of the NWO and telling everyone to suck his dick is pretty funny. So we'll see where this goes. I know people are upset that it's not JBL or Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, but I like Kevin Nash and JBL more because Scott Hall is on this rampage to get a world title before he retires, which he said he's going to do in a season. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty good match, 5 stars, a lot of back and forth action, and yeah, for 17 seconds there, they gave us a lot, didn't they?
Yeah. That was a lot to take in.
Whew, all right.
That was the greatest 17 seconds of my life.
Honestly. So, all right, we go to a segment, and Kane is looking around backstage for the Undertaker, and then he turned around and punches Sin Cara in the face. He's like, "My bad, I thought you were the Undertaker." Sin Cara's like dead on the floor. Sin Cara's being used as a prop of the season, which I think is hilarious. Undertaker's just playing mind games with Kane. Kane does this doofy run down the hall, yelling, "Brother, reveal yourself." And then on one of the doors, there's a mask that Undertaker wore in 1995. And then Kane just keeps looking around and he randomly kicks a wall. I don't know what. I think Kane did like LSD before he did this segment. Undertaker said, "What's the matter, brother? You scared?" in the background. And then Kane just clotheslines some random camera guy who he thought was the Undertaker. And then he says, "Let me end you once and for all." And then all of a sudden the lights go out and then the lights come back on and Kane and Undertaker are not there. And Bruce is on commentary saying, "Ah, good old Taker." So what do you think, Aaron?
I thought it was a really intense segment. Just to break the tension of all the stuff going on during the match. This Undertaker and Kane feud, man, it's gonna be one of the best feuds ever. I can tell you right now. Started on Raw 25 when they still basically it was the sleeper hit of the night, in my opinion. And whenever,
Kane through the light.
yeah, whenever Kane and Undertaker get together, man, you know it's gonna be something good. So I can't wait to see what they pull for this.
I think I heard that it might be their last hoorah for both of them. I think they're both going to retire after this.
Right.
That's what I heard.
I didn't hear that, so relax.
I didn't hear that either.
Hey, it's just talk backstage. They want to go out with one last feud. Makes sense.
Sound like you made it up.
Sounds like you want to get punched in your fucking face right here. Go, Alan, hold me back!
Hold the flag.
Okay, what's next?
Alan, what did you think?
For me, this is a very enjoyable feud. It brings me back to the time where I would just used to sit back there and watch those two do work, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I can't wait to see where this feud goes. A lot. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be one of those, as you call it. It's gonna be one of those gyms, like those one of those underrated gyms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna be. It was a good segment. It was a lot of intense stuff going on.
I thought Kane looked doofy, but other than that, it was a good segment. I don't know why Sin Cara is being used as a prop.
Forced Cara.
He got fucking destroyed. All right, so next we have Rob Van Dam walking down the hallway and then in front of Anthony Chandler's office because we remember on Raw that Eric Bischoff said that RVD has to go to Anthony Chandler if he wants his job back. So RVD knocks on the door. There's no answer. He knocks louder. Says it's important. Jim Gordon isn't with me. And then we see Rush answer the door. Haven't seen Rush in a bit. He answers the door looking at RVD. He said, "What do you want?" RVD says he has a deal for Anthony. And then Rush turns around and closes the door in RVD's face. RVD starts dialing Jim Gordon's number. And then Anthony Chandler walks out in a towel and bathrobe in the doorway. And then he takes off the towel and walks down the hall completely naked. The camera crew was super late to blur it out. So we saw Anthony Chandler's full butt cheeks, a little bit of his testicles. It was not a pleasant sight, ladies and gentlemen. And for some reason, RVD has this new attire where his hair is down and he's in a vest and a necklace, and the camera zoomed in on him giving some crazy ass face. Rush tells AC that he has a nice ass, and then he looks at RVD, "Why are you still here?" And then RVD, he just told him to deliver a message to AC. And then Rush all of a sudden starts attacking RVD. And then Jim Gordon runs down the hall and just starts beating the shit out of Rush. And then storms into AC's office and kicking down the door and starts really destroying Rush. And then Jim Gordon asks RVD who is that guy. And then RVD marks out for the moment. And then he says, "Anthony didn't even hear me out. These new guys are trash." And Gordon says Anthony has a match with Allen. He might be headed there. Come on, let's go, in typical Jim Gordon fashion. Rush gets up and runs at Jim. And then all of a sudden, Jim Gordon uppercuts him and clubs him in the back and throws him into the shower glass and then turns on burning water. And so Jim Gordon beats the shit out of Rush, and then RVD nods, said something about the murder that I didn't commit, and then yeah. What did you think?
One of the best segments of the night, if you ask me, man. It was so great. It was so epic. I like seeing Anthony's butt cheeks. That was the highlight of the night, to be honest with you.
Yeah, totally.
And yeah, what did you think, Alan?
Did Alan fall asleep?
No, I have freaking room service.
Yeah, you fell asleep. I just saw you with your eyes closed. Old ass people, I swear, yo.
All right, what's going on?
See?
What did you think about the segment, Doofy?
I thought it was rather unique. It was good to see Rush back on the screen again.
It was good to see Anthony's butt cheeks, right?
Yeah, those sexy butt cheeks.
What? Okay.
Okay. All right. Anyways, I liked how Jim Gordon came in and freaking just teared Rush apart pretty much.
Yeah, we got to see Jim Gordon finally fighting.
Yeah, just to see that that thing through the table was like Yes. Just seeing, I laughed out loud so hard when I saw Anthony running down the hole butt naked. I was like, dude, what is he doing?
And the camera crew, they were so late to blur it out.
Dude, like it literally showed his ass cheeks 5 seconds.
I followed him. He went the whole way, man. He went all the way to his car, just completely naked.
He's crazy, man.
I got a
I mean,
video.
that's why we love him, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and the segment was interesting. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 for a segment.
Well, Alan, I didn't know we were rating segments, but
Well, I'm old and getting.
yeah, you're fucking old. You just fell asleep in the middle of the fucking podcast. I thought it's great to see Jim Gordon in the WWE. I thought WWE made a great signing to get him here. Rush getting destroyed and selling it perfectly. He went through fucking glass perfectly. RVD and Jim Gordon's are a random pair, but I think it's great. And I can't wait to see what happens with everything. So, yeah, moving on. What was next here? Shelton Benjamin and Carlito versus Triple H and Stone Cold in a no-holds-barred tag team match. Facebook's being retarded again. But good thing I know what happened in the match. So the match started and it quickly got on the outside. They were fighting in the crowd. Triple H looked pretty good in this match, I'd have to say. If the fucking comments with no fuck. My bad, guys. And so yeah, the match was pretty good. I like seeing these guys in the ring. I like this new Shelton Benjamin and Carlito tag team after they fought so much back in their first stint. And then all of a sudden, oh my god, Jesus fucking Christ. JBL and Kevin Nash came out and they screw over Carlito and Shelton Benjamin. And then just as Steve Austin gets up, JBL destroys him with a clothesline from hell and looks down at him and tells him to suck his dick. And then are you done?
Get your breath, buddy.
Yeah, I'm good.
Alright, so and then Triple H attacks Stone Cold, and so we get this crazy ending that really can't be explained until Raw. We'll see what happens, but Triple H joins the NWO. That's the ultimate ending. And Kevin Nash and JBL don't have to face any of these tag teams because now Stone Cold and Triple H are disbanded with Triple H joining the NWO. What did you think, Aaron?
Really good tag team match. Nice chemistry between these two teams. You know, since Survivor Series, there's been obviously a lot of heat between them. Shelton Benjamin picking up wins over both of them. Carlito picking up wins over the others. As usual, Shelton was the best athlete in this match. He moved really well, really good.
Fucking love Shelton.
Triple H was all aggressive as usual. Stone Cold was great. Carlito was great. I thought everything in this match was pretty good. The ending was a really twist ending that I did not see coming at all. I was really twisted when Stone Cold didn't join him as well. Just turn on Stone Cold. JBL clotheslining. JBL clotheslining Stone Cold was funny. Stone Cold sold that like a fish and died. Yeah, that was pretty good. I give the match a 4 out of 5. So yeah, here we go. What do
I
you think?
What?
So what do you think?
I thought the match was great. I thought the outside action was good for this match. You know, them fighting in the crowd and stuff. Triple H looked good, and Shelton Benjamin looked good. I hope we get a match with those two in the future, like just a singles match without Austin and Carlito being involved. Um, Other than that, I think Shelton Benjamin's on to bigger and better things. So is Carlito. I don't know if they're going to remain a tag team or they're going to diverge into singles competition, but great start to their return. With Shelton Benjamin being a former WWE champion and taking a long hiatus. And the same thing with Carlito, who never really got onto his feet with us. And so, yeah, that happened. And then Triple H joining the NWO, I think, is a nice little change. I want to see how Stone Cold reacts to something like this. And Alex Jones and Bruce Blitz seemed to have an orgasm on the commentary team when that happened. So they're happy. A lot of wrestling fans are happy. What do you think, Alan?
I agree with you guys. It was a
You
pretty.
always agree with us. Give your own opinion, you asshole. I mean, what? Yeah.
I'm trying to pass my fist into your teeth, buddy.
Okay.
Anyway, I do agree that it was a great match. Uh, it was a lot of back and forth action. And honestly, that ending was a shock because I didn't think that the team was gonna split up already. Uh, and Triple H joining the NWO was just something I didn't see coming.
Yeah, I thought I'd never see the day.
I mean, sometimes I like to be surprised. Even though what I do. Uh, but yeah, sometimes I like to be surprised, and this was something that really surprised me. And I think it would be a good move because, as you said, it would be kind of cool to see how Stone Cold reacts to what Triple H did. And
Again, being the victim of the NWO.
yeah, and honestly, I want to see a singles match between Stone Cold and Triple H come out of this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
All right. That's that. So then we go backstage, and Jim Gordon and RVD are trying to find Anthony Chandler. Jim Gordon sees Anthony Chandler taking off in his car. And then he says, "Let's go." And then all of a sudden, Jeff Gordon's in the front seat. And Jeff Gordon says, "Okay, I got you, my fellow Gordon." And then they all drive off, RVD, Jim Gordon, and Jeff Gordon. And they never appear again. So they just drove. We don't know what happened with that. And then we get Brock Lesnar versus Batista in a Falls Count Anywhere match, which was pretty brutal of a match. Batista and Brock Lesnar it looked like they were really fighting. I heard backstage that they actually were fighting.
That's what I heard.
Legitly. Like they just wanted to put on a show, not that they had beef or anything. Oh, fucking Facebook, man. Holy shit.
You sound like a prima donna.
Oh,
What the
anyway, JR was really into this match. Brock Lesnar came out with a wrap around his ribs because, as we remember on Raw, Batista hit him with a fucking car, which was pretty sick. Brock Lesnar just got in the ring and started charging him with fists, and then Batista started punching him. It was pretty much a war, like right off the start. I thought it was pretty cool to see him. Batista, he's been kind of a mouth lately. He called him big and bad, Mr. Beast, Mr. Destruction, Mr. The One in Allen's asshole. And then Brock Lesnar slid in the ring, and then Batista was still talking shit as he was destroyed in the corner of the ring, saying Mr. Allen looks balls and is mad overrated and can't wrestle. Which all of this was so clear on camera, it was hilarious. I don't know what Batista's on about with this Allen thing. as we'll see later, it's pretty irrelevant now. Batista and Brock Lesnar, they kept punching each other, and then Brock Lesnar gave him a spine buster, and then the fans were going nuts for this at this time. And then Brock Lesnar screams, "You tried to kill me," and then got a barbed wire 2x4, which we haven't seen in a while. A lot of things coming back to the WWE, including, The Godfather and the Last Man Standing match and Hitler and shit like that. And and then Brock Lesnar went back in the ring, and then Batista took it from him. Well, they had a power struggle for it. And Batista was making some funny face, and then Batista headbutted him and swings a barbed wire back across his back, and he kept slamming it at him, and then Brock Lesnar just dies, and then that's that pretty much. Brock Lesnar got back in the ring. He was just getting killed by Batista. Got Batista bombed into the apron on his neck, which I thought was a sick spot, and then Batista decides to do it about 15 more times. And the fans were just like not having it at that point. They were like booing Batista. And I saw a little kid cry as Brock Lesnar was dying. And then Brock Lesnar rolls him up out of nowhere. Batista kicks out, and then Batista pins Brock Lesnar and wins the match. Whew! What did you think?
Me?
Yeah, you!
Yeah, that was a really intense match. Batista just destroying Brock Lesnar, making Brock Lesnar his bitch, obviously, as I think it should be, because Batista's number one daddy, number one daddy, number one daddy. So, yeah, I love Batista. I love watching Batista wrestle. Can't believe his dick is like 10 inches, but yeah. So, yeah, good match. I give it a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was a good match. Nice back and forth. I thought we could have seen him for a little bit longer, but Brock Lesnar absolutely got destroyed. I don't know where WWE's going with this angle. I don't know if Brock Lesnar is just going to be out or if he's just going to be there, like dead, making comebacks or whatever. But other than that, it was a battle of the beast, and Batista came out on top. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. What do you think, Alan? It doesn't matter what you think. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Go fuck yourself. Anyways.
Okay.
Oh man. It was a really brutal match. There was a lot of like punching.
I can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Right up in your ear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's kind of turning me on.
Anyways, yeah, it was a very brutal match. Batista pretty much killed Brock Lesnar, and that was the end of it. And I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, Ballard just doesn't even be giving description. He's just like, yeah, a pretty good match. It's a hit my rating. Hit my rating. It's a pretty good match. I don't have much else to say because
You really just want to get punched right now, don't you? You're gonna get it, stupid.
You don't be giving descriptions. You just be like, yeah, I think it was a good match, and here's my rating.
I'm giving you this how I want to. You don't with it.
So moving on, we get the World Heavyweight Championship match, WrestleMania 3 rematch, Scott Hall versus the World Champion Chris Jericho. Scott Hall came out with JBL, Kevin Nash, and Triple H. Kevin Nash and JBL had the tag team titles, which are now spray painted NWO. So all Scott Hall has to do is win the world title, and their dominance will be pretty solidified. Scott Hall, he talks his way down the ramp, saying 20 plus years in the making, I'm finally going to get my world title. And it was pretty, and it was a pretty epic atmosphere before the match, but Scott Hall was building it up perfectly. Chris Jericho comes out with Jake Carter and Kevin Owens, so we know there's going to be a lot of people outside of the ring. So Chris Jericho gets in the ring, and then JBL shouts to Chris Jericho, "Suck my dick." Oh, for, for some reason, JBL has arrived like 3 times during this pay-per-view and said "suck my dick" to 3 different people. So this was a pretty epic beginning to the match with the introductions and everything. Kevin Nash giving Scott Hall a cool hug, telling him to go get your title, because we know everyone in the NWO right now has been a world champion besides Scott Hall. The Big Show's been a world champion in WWE, WCW. Triple H has been a multiple-time world champion in the WWE. And Kevin Nash, as Diesel, was a world champion in the early days of the WWE. So they start the match. They had a pretty cool sequence with lockups, headlocks, clotheslines, breast chops, the typical wrestling stuff. And Scott Hall was jabbering his mouth to Jericho, and then Jericho gave him a solid jab to the mouth, which I thought looked pretty good. And then Jericho started giving Hall some breast chops that Hall was giving Jericho, but this time Hall was overselling them. And then Scott Hall gives Chris Jericho a German suplex, and then he yells "too sweet." Oh, I forgot to mention there was a part before the match where Scott Hall, JBL, Kevin Nash, and Triple H all put up the NWO hand sign, and literally every single person in the crowd did it back, which I thought that was amazing. There's some cool photos. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway,
That was beautiful.
we get back to the match, and for some reason, Scott Hall does a cartwheel into a backflip into an elbow to Chris Jericho's face. I did not know Scott Hall could do that. That made Jericho die. Then they go back to the outside. Scott Hall is killed through the barricade with a spear by Chris Jericho. Bruce Blitz starts popping off on commentary, and he's obviously cheering for the NWO because he had an orgasm earlier about the NWO. And then everyone scattered from the commentary table as they were fighting on top of the announce table. And then Bruce Blitz is just yelling at Scott Hall in his face, telling him to get up. And so Scott Hall is just laying there on the announce table. And then Chris Jericho tries to give him a lion salt. And then Scott Hall catches him mid-air and then he spears him mid-air into the apron. And it looked disgusting. I think Chris Jericho got injured from that. I'm not positive. The crowd was going apeshit at this moment, and Bruce Blitz is saying, "This is taking me back," which I thought was funny because Bruce Blitz has never been in the WWE, but he wrestled apparently. So Scott Hall crawls away, but Kevin Nash lifts him to his feet. Says, "Come on, buddy, dig deep. You can do this." Scott Hall nods. This is pretty epic of a match so far. JR calls it a slobber knocker. And then Scott Hall follows Chris Jericho into the ring, giving him a DDT. He spins around and then starts smacking himself, realizing that the world title could be his. The fans go nuts. Hall goes for a outsider's edge, and then Jericho gives him a code breaker to his back, as my man Alan next to me described it while we were watching the match backstage. Or outside of the arena, my bad. Outside of the arena. Alan was not allowed in the arena. Okay. So, but it was a backstabber. Alan calls it a code breaker to his back. Alan's a loony. We all know this. The fans were silent as they thought that was it for Scott Hall. Scott Hall grabs the bottom rope and he's clinging for life. He really wants his first world title. And then Scott Hall, all of a sudden, he's picked up. Bruce Blitz is just doing some amazing commentary, and so is JR. We don't hear much of Jerry and Alex Jones during this match. I don't even know why Alex Jones was let onto the commentary team. Kevin Owens regroups with Jericho and Jay Carter on the outside. And then all of a sudden, Scott Hall does some corkscrew onto the outside. Scott Hall looks pretty athletic during this match. I don't know what possessed him to do most of this shit. He was really digging deep for this world title. But the ref is out cold. He brings Jericho into the ring and pins him, and the crowd says 1, 2, 3. The ref was still out. Scott Hall was expecting him to be up. And all of a sudden, we hear the voices of Grant Gustin, Marty Jannetty, Jason Mack Roberts, and Diamond Dallas Page. They all join commentary. They all say that this match is bigger than what people made it out to be. Grant Gustin says that Scott Hall would be the WWE champion when the match is not for the WWE title, it's for the World Heavyweight title. Scott Hall gives Chris Jericho a STO, and then he gives him the Hogan leg drop. The fans are going nuts. They think that this could be it. Hall pins him, and then Scott Hall pins him, and then Jericho grabs the ropes. Scott Hall gives some stupid ass face to Chris Jericho, and the fans boo. They thought that was it. They thought Scott Hall was going to be the world champion, which was not the case. Hall goes for a clothesline and then gets a code breaker, and then Scott Hall dies. Scott Hall kicks out of the pin. This match is very good at this point. I think it's one of the matches of the night. And then all of a sudden, everyone starts fighting outside of the ring. JBL gets clobbered by Kevin Owens, and so does Kevin Nash. Triple H he's looking around like someone stole his dog. And then Jericho goes for a lion salt, and then Hall catches him and then goes for the outsider's edge. But Kevin Owens comes in and low blows Hall to the DQ bell. Triple H runs in the ring and tries to attack him. Kevin Owens destroys Triple H. And then Triple H looked like he was ready to fight whoever. And then Jay Carter gets in and clotheslines Triple H. Bruce Blitz is flipping out on commentary. Triple H dies with the clothesline. And then that's that. Scott Hall looked pissed off. What do you think, Aaron? I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought this match really stole the show. Oh, man, like it was a sleeper hit of the night. Like nobody, like you guys said, it was bigger. I mean, like Grant Gustin said, it was bigger than what people made it out to be. Man, it was like we were going into this match expecting just a throwaway world title match. It became so big from the start. Like the crowd was into it. They had the epic stare off. Scott Hall really busting out the moves here. You know, building a real. Every time Scott Hall challenges for the title, it's a really good story, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think Scott Hall, he's another person that's in the best shape of his life later in his career. I thought it was pretty cool. I agree.
I honestly, I'd give it a 4 out of 5, man. It was so really just. Okay, 5 out of 5. I give it a 5 out of 5, man. It was so damn good. I thought Scott Hall did good. Chris Jericho did good. Chris Jericho's a good heel champion. I like his entourage with Kevin Owens and Jake. And
Are you gonna have a heart attack?
Chad Snyder did some good referee work here. Really like Chad being a referee, as he has been, and yeah, pretty good. The ending really got me by surprise, man. Yeah, I really thought Chris Jericho was gonna get the pinfall or some sneaky shit, but Kevin Owens just came in and said, "Nah, we're not having a family, and we'll go to him." Kevin Owens wasn't putting up with it, so yeah, I liked it. Very good match, very good action, very good everything. 5 out of 5. And that's just the long and short of where I'm coming from. So what did you think, Alan?
I really enjoyed this match. Scott Hall really brought it to this match. He proved that he can still go with big time. And, he put up a pretty good fight with Chris Jericho. And honestly, this was one of my favorite matches of the night. And I really hope they go one on one again because they what? What?
Just keep going, Alan. Just keep going.
Oh god. Anyways, I really hope they go one on one again because they really just put on some of the best matches between those two. And I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I don't know why they're giving it a 4 out of 5. I think it's 5 out of 5 actually. Um, I thought this match, like Aaron said, it was a show stealer. I didn't think it was gonna be that great, but Scott Hall always seemed to amaze me. I I was convinced that he was gonna win the match there for a second, and then I do think they face. I really hope Scott Hall captures the world title in the future before he retires. Great match, Scott Hall. Great storytelling. He seemed desperate. Like I said, I liked the moment when they put up the NWO hand signals, and then like everyone in the crowd did it too. And it was a good match by some two seasoned veterans, and I give it a 5 out of 5. And like Alan's hating ass, and yeah,
Hey, go screw yourself.
Alan, you must really want to fight.
I do want to fight. You want to go?
No,
All right then.
suck my dick. And anyway,
I'm gonna do this match.
yeah, sure.
Okay. Next match was the semi-main event. Anthony Chim Chow Handler.
Wait. Before we got to that, I arrived in my limo
Oh
and
yeah, oh yeah.
and Butch Gilzine, the great Khali, Bret Hart, and George Bush walked up to me. They smiled. I had the W title on my shoulder, and then I said, "Oh baby, tonight's gonna be a show." Anyway, moving on. Yep.
All right, Anthony Chandler. Match there. Well, it wasn't really a match; it was a fight. Anthony was on the roof of the shed. He shot an arrow down. He was looking all emo and ninja-ish, and he shot an arrow down at Alan. Alan dodged the arrow. Alan was in some improper street clothes, looking like a bum. Going out there looking like a bum. Um, Anthony shot an arrow down and hook line down to the ground and stared off at Alan. And they were walking towards each other all slow and epic while monologuing and talking. And then Alan threw a punch at Anthony, and Anthony was like swiftly ducking them. Like this was an actual fight. This was fight choreographed and everything, like in a movie. There's like a Daredevil, Captain America type stuff here. Anthony was like ducking each punch and like a martial arts master. And Alan tried to go for a knee to the gut. Anthony caught Alan's knees, showing that he's more experienced than Alan when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. And Anthony hit an elbow to the side of the head. Alan was leaning on the side of the shed. Anthony slammed his quiver right at Alan, and then choked him against the shed with the quiver, I guess. Anthony was like, "You wanted this." Alan was choking. Anthony was kneeing Alan in the gut as he was choking him. This was like so intense, man. Alan reached for something like a horseshoe from Chad. From my favorite, well, one of my favorite, probably my favorite horse, Epona. But you guys know I have two horses, Bullseye and Epona. Those are my two horses. I claim them. They're named after Legend of Zelda and Toy Story, and I absolutely adore them. So I noticed that horseshoe automatically. I was like, that's Epona's horseshoe. Because it has my initials on it. So, or that could be Ashley's initials or Al's initials or Antonio. You guys get it, alright? But it has my initials. He bashed it over Anthony's head. You could hear it like, ching! I was like, oh my god. And you could see the blood come from Anthony's head. I was like, oh, this is intense. And then Alan speared Anthony to the ground and just started digging in them with left and rights, and like every punch looked so damn real. And Anthony was all bloody and ugh. And then Alan was like dragging him towards the house and eating him in the gut. And then Anthony kicked Allen in the gut and hit a brain buster on top of a haystack. And all the haystack hairs went flying, and Al was just laying there. Anthony was dragging Allen closer to the house now. He dropped him on a full Nelson brainbuster on the cement, which I thought hurt. You could hear like Allen's skull crack, basically. Oh, and Allen was like, "Son of a bitch." And Anthony walked up the steps. He stand on the railing. He did a 630 senton off the railing and onto Allen. So like I said, it was more like a fight, but there was some wrestling, and I like how they incorporated the wrestling. Anthony was like, can't keep up. Allen started pulling himself up. Anthony was looking really much like a villain right here. Anthony kicked Allen on the back, gave him a face buster onto the steps. A piece of the steps broke off, it looked like. Anthony took Allen to the porch. He kicked Allen's head in. Oh, and Allen's this was a gruesome sight. It was like something that came out of the Snyder movies. Allen fell back, head first into a nail, and almost pierced his skull. And Allen just saw the nail. He was screaming like the loudest scream I ever saw Allen do.
Just hearing that makes me hurt.
Yeah. And then Anthony ripped off one of the legs of the chair. He slammed it across Allen's back. Anthony was like 8 years. 8 goddamn years. I like this. 8 goddamn years of your bullshit. From the moment I stepped into FCW, you've been pulling the strings. Allen screaming as Anthony's taunting him like this is some shit out of a movie, a superhero movie. I've had dreams of this moment every night for the past 8 years. He grabbed Allen's face and lifted him, and then Allen came out of nowhere with a Ushigoroshi, killed Anthony. Woo! Whew. Allen went for a Dragon Sleeper. He had it in for a little bit. Then he gave him a Dragon Sleeper suplex face buster onto the porch. I was like, damn, they're gonna break the porch down. You can see the porch cracking up and shit. And Allen pulled the nail out, and then he picked AC up. He was like, let's go inside and get a little comfy, huh? Allen sounded a little drunk when he said this, and then he threw AC through the front door. And AC just died through the front door as like all the wood and stuff went flying. I was like, damn, this. I think Zack Snyder directed this, man, because this looks really good. Allen looked at that coffee table with a rage face. He picked up Anthony. He double underhooked him into the coffee table, and double underhook powerbomb through the coffee table, which is really cool. A lot of fighting with this coffee table, man. You think they would actually drink the coffee and not fight through? I'm just messing with you guys. But yeah, Anthony went for the coffee table. He sold it really good. He was like, he wasn't young, but he was in so much pain. And I was like, what was that about not being able to keep up? And then he grabbed a few plates off the cabinet and just smashed them on the Anthony. There was like plates flying all over. Anthony was like, at this point, he was not the upper hand anymore. He was crawling away. It looked all epic with Allen chasing after him in the darkness. Allen grabbed a hold of his foot, and then he was going for the clover release. And then Anthony kicked Allen, and Allen flew into the grandfather clock and smashed through the. Oh, he bounced off the glass, and Anthony kicked him through the glass of the clock. And Allen was like slumped over in the clock with the glass all over. Woo! And I just got a text from Seth. Seth says, Allen, you owe him $200. Okay. All right. Anthony grabbed a shard of glass and cut it across Allen's cheek. This looks so good close up. And Anthony was like, I was right. You can't keep up. You're old. You're dejected. Let me put out of your misery. And Allen screamed out again. And Allen said, go yourself. In that deep Allen voice. Anthony just laughed at him like a drunk dude.
Wait, Alan, can you say that again for me?
Do what?
Can you say that out loud for me?
Go fuck yourself.
There.
Yeah. Anthony picked up Allen. He took him into the kitchen. He literally smashed his head into the kitchen sink. They got everything in the kitchen sink in this match. Anthony turned on the sink, said, let's give you a little wash. He filled up the sink and then tried to literally drown Allen. And I was like, you can feel Allen struggle, and it looks so really great. Thought Allen was gonna die here, really. I don't know how they pulled this off. Allen low blowed Anthony, and Anthony just held his balls. If he was ever gonna have he already shot out his load into triplets, but I mean, Damn. Alan turned out of the water, and Anthony just limped towards Alan. Alan uh, threw him into the door. Anthony slammed against the door. His nose broke. Whew. Uh, you could when he came back to the hotel, I saw his nose was all crooked, like, and just looked disgusting.
It's still in.
And ugly, right? It still is. It looks disgusting, ugly. Alan grabbed a ladder. He put it in the back of AC's head, and
Sorry.
Anthony just went so hard through the just and it looked so brutal, and you could hear everything. And Alan was like this. He got a rope around AC. He was like, "Let's go for a ride." He was roping him on the side of the house. He climbed the ladder. He set the ladder on the side of the house. He climbed the ladder. He used the rope, the other end of the rope, to pull AC to the top of the house. And Alan said, "You should have killed him when you had the chance, not once but twice, bitch." And Anthony realizes it. He tries to, get out of it. He starts yelling at Alan. Alan holds up AC. This looks like a really good shot from like Wonder Woman or something like that with that lasso. And I was like, "Now you gone and done it." His face is almost there. They're not there anymore from all the glass that has gone to his face. He says, "How does it feel?" Feels helpless. So he punches him down in the head with a free shot. This one is for D-Bry. You tried to fuck him over. Punches him again. This one's for accusing me of all the bullshit you have accused me of. Punches him twice for that one. This one is for fucking with my sons and his best friend's main event. And Alan headbutted Anthony like 10 stiff Shibata style. I swear to God, if Seth doesn't stop texting. Okay. 10 stiff Shibata style headbutts. Anthony took it all and just died. And then Alan got a weird idea and he set his car on fire. And then Anthony was going to throw himself and Alan. I mean, and Anthony. No, Alan was going to throw himself and Anthony off the car. And then a voice yelled, and like there was a figure standing there by the car. It was a girl. Alan was like, "Huh?" Like the Tim Allen, "Huh?" And then Anthony took that distraction to throw Alan off the house and onto the flaming car. And yeah, Alan just everything went exploded, and Alan just died. And Anthony was like the king of the world, like Penguin at the end of Gotham season 1.
Yes.
and
season 2.
and
Penguin, woo woo woo! Oswald Cobblepot.
Can you stop it? And Anthony taunted. He was all happy and stuff. And then Anthony drove off on his motorcycle as the cops and the ambulance came, and that was the end of the match. And we faded out. And it was like I said, it wasn't a match. It was more like a fight. But obviously, I don't know if I should rate it or not because it was just like a fight. But if I had to give it a rating, I would give it a 5 out of 5 because of everything that happened in this match. So they had literally everything, and the kitchen sink.
Kitchen sink, literally.
Yeah, everything and the kitchen sink. It was so great. I thought you guys did a phenomenal job. I don't know how you guys pulled it all off. I don't know if that was pre-recorded or what, but it looks so good. So, yeah, props to you guys. Props to you guys for holding out. And, great work.
We're definitely both going to be hurting for weeks after that match.
Yeah, this is a really great feud. This is a really grudgy feud. This is probably my favorite feud of 2018. Probably my favorite feud I've ever seen. That's not my own. Like, damn, it's really good. Like, all the stuff that's happening.
I've definitely enjoyed feuding with Anthony.
All the twists and turns.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought it was a hoobla doobla of a match, honestly. The beginning with Alan driving down the road. We always get some scene with Alan driving down the road. But this one, he was going a little too fast. He did some donuts. Alan's crazy. And I thought the setting of the match, the Snyder family farm, was great. Anthony Snyder, while fighting Alan, he was looking to destroy the farm, it seemed, at the same time.
What the hell? What the hell?
and then, you know, they were, it was a good, as you said, it was a fight. It was a great, it what are you laughing at? Anyway, it was a great fight. I love the setting, especially the Snyder family farm. Seems like you two got creative with that one. The mystery girl, everything was just like it was great. So much suspense. I can't even go much further than that. I mean, the suspense. It's we all know it's not over because we know Alan's just not going to sit on Vixens for the rest of the season.
Ooh.
So yeah, a 4.9 out of 5. I think the only thing I think that Alan doing a few donuts and driving down took away that 0.1 rating. So 4.9 out of 5.
Alan.
You gotta appreciate fun, Alan, dude.
It's not fun, Alan. It's cringy, Alan.
Nah, it's definitely fun, man.
Alan donuts.
You know what? I'm hearing voices outside my door.
Fun, Alan. Trust me.
Oh my God! Get
What? Wait, what?
there was some random person saying, "Yeah, that was fun."
What? What?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm about to turn my phone off if you don't stop texting me, man.
Yeah, what the hell, Alan?
It's not Alan.
you.
Oh.
No, but y'all, as I was saying, you gotta appreciate fun, Alan, dude.
What did you think about the match, Fatso? God.
You call me Fatso again, and I will shove this laptop up your ass.
Alan!
Yeah, well, I don't want to really like toot my own horn here, but
You never do.
what?
What?
Hey, I tried to be a humble guy, all right.
We're past that stage, Alan.
Oh, you just want to
What?
Anyways, uh, this match that me and AC put on was something we actually been choreographing for 2 weeks. Yeah, that's how much we choreographed this to make sure that everything went perfect. And
Oh, yeah?
if your wise ass comment, shut up. Well, anyways, yeah, we knew this match was gonna be this fight was gonna be dangerous, so we pretty much practiced the match for what we wanted to do for like 2 weeks beforehand. And I just want to let you guys know with that whole nail bit spot that was not planned. That was not planned at all. And
Oh shit.
I literally could have died at that very moment. And if it would have went in like another half inch, that would have been it. And there was a part in the match where there was this cinematic like big. Anyways, there was this spot, the cinematic spot where the camera zoomed out a little bit, and then you can actually. AC came up to me and asked me if I was fine. I was like, yeah, I could have been. But I said, let's continue this match. I'm not. Who's playing that shit, man?
You already know who it is.
What do you mean? You're the one that laughed, so obviously it was you.
Oh man. Anyways, AC came up to me and asked me if I was fine. I was like, kind of not. I mean, I'm feeling it a lot right now. It's like when the cameras tuned back in, when we got back to being all serious and stuff, and we were on with the match. The fight in general was pretty enjoyable. I mean, I liked all the stuff we did in the match. You know, I'm gonna give our match 5 out of 5.
Toot your
Is
own
that
horn,
it?
you little bitch.
Yeah.
All right, and then we got the main event, which was pretty sick if you ask me. Aaron, do you want to go through this one? Wait, Alan, you should go through this one. You weren't in the match.
No, you should go through it.
I was about to say I don't have the notes. You do.
That's why you look for the notes.
You know what? After this podcast, I'm seriously gonna punch you.
All right, I'm gonna punch you back, old man.
All right, let's fight outside then.
All right.
All right, go on.
Whew. Your ass. Okay. So, Aaron, he had this cool entrance, and I came out as the Joker, aka Jerome Velasca. And, well, Seth came out, but he did a normal entrance because he's a basic bitch. So yeah, cool entrances, and then the match started, and immediately right away, Seth Rollins gave Aaron a super kick, and the crowd reacted accordingly. I reacted accordingly. I didn't even know that was gonna happen. I was getting ready for a handicap match from the rip, but okay. I played it off. I started laughing. I clotheslined the fuck out of him, and then we fought while Aaron was dead outside of the ring. And what the fans don't know is that during the moment when I had this headlock on Seth, we were talking to each other. I asked him what he was doing after. I asked him if he wanted to go to the arcade. I told him Seattle has good bars. Then I also told him I wanted Big ZD. After the match, we did get Big ZD. We didn't go to a bar or an arcade, but we had some good Big ZD. Me, Aaron, and Seth. Just thought everyone should know that we had some great Big ZD because yeah, my dad makes some great Big ZD, and that's what we had.
Okay. God damn.
Anyway, and then Seth told me I smelled good and asked me what body wash it is. I told it was some Dove for Men with some Javon, and I had to smell good for this. And Aaron be smelling like shit when he sweats, which is true.
No,
Um,
no,
yes, yo, you be
no,
smelling nasty as fuck. You be smelling
no.
disgusting. Yes, yes.
No, none of what you just said is true.
Anyway, so we went back and forth. There was some cool spots here and there, and then I tried to get into his head. But I also said I didn't have to play any mind games. This sounds weird, me saying I said and I did this and I did that, because I'm not used to commentating my own matches. Anyway, so yeah, me and Seth fought. We went back and forth, and then all of a sudden I saw Aaron standing there, so I spun Seth around to Aaron, and then Aaron kicked our ass with this cool drop kick thing, and then me and Aaron started to go at it. We did this cool reversal fest. Well, wait, before that, Aaron and Seth went at each other. But then me and Aaron, we did this reversal fest, which was cool. The fans seemed to enjoy it. And then me, Seth, and Aaron were all in each corners, which was kind of cool. And then all of a sudden, I tried to get Aaron into a crossface, while Aaron had Seth into a crossface. But then Aaron got out of it, and then all of a sudden, Aaron and Seth, they started going at each other. And I just let them, I was playing some cool mind games. Well, I wasn't even playing mind games. I was just letting them tire each other out. So I let them fight. I was standing there, egging them on. I tried the bloodline set Aaron out of nowhere. He didn't have any of that, and then he gave me a super kick, and I fucking died. And I just went to the outside of the ring, and then those two went.
Die, dumbass. You ducked.
Shut up! I'm just trying to make it interesting. and And then so I clapped them on again, and then Aaron got him into a clover leaf, and then I'm just yelling at Aaron, telling him to do it tighter. I was just being a troll during the whole match, well, most of the beginning of the match. And so they went at it again. I kept trying. I was working on my evil smile during this match a lot. I'm trying to get it down because the WWE wants me to do some stuff and stuff later on in the season. They want me to be. They liked my Joker gimmick and they wanted to see if I could nail the evil smile. And I guess apparently they thought I did. I thought I didn't. I don't know. Anyway, Aaron and Seth were having this cute little rivalry mid match. They were talking shit to each other. They were fighting, and then he started to beat my ass because I tried to get into the middle, and then I just started to get destroyed. He was stomping on me over and over. I felt each and every one. I started to laugh because I don't know. I was just trying to play the gimmick. And then Aaron got visibly pissed and he told me to sell something.
Because you weren't selling at all. You weren't selling a single move.
Yes, I was.
No, you were not.
You were. You kept reversing everything.
I was reversing because you were reversing.
And I was reversing because you were reversing.
Then you weren't selling.
You were reversing.
What are you talking about?
You kept reversing. I didn't know what to do, so I was reversing.
You weren't selling, and then Seth said he's not selling, so I was like, he's gonna sell to me, and then I tried to make you sell, you weren't selling, so I got pissed, and I started giving you legit stops to that.
Oh man, so I told I told Aaron to hit me again, and that's when Seth just like trucked Aaron and gave him a turnbuckle power bomb, and then Aaron actually sold it.
Shut up! I was selling moves the entire match. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
And then I watched Seth letting the two go at it again. I was wondering. I thought that this match should have happened on Raw too, because these two seemed like they really wanted to go at each other. And so Seth gave him a Phoenix Splash, talked down to him, and then all of a sudden I grabbed Seth and I launched him outside of the ring as hard as I could, threw him into the steps, threw him into the barricade, DDT'd him on the outside, and at this point I was just unloading.
This was brutal.
I picked Seth up. Well, I picked his face up and I started ramming it up onto the steps until he bladed. And then I told him he wasn't the real champion. I banged his head off the steps one last time, and then he just laid.
Wait! Did you see that guy that tried to hop the barricade? That fat dude.
Yeah, I forgot some guy in a Seth Rollins shirt, some some Allen looking motherfucker. He tried to charge at me, and good thing we have good security these days, because that guy got tackled. The camera didn't really pick it up. They changed to a different angle. And then I got in the ring, and then I looked down at Aaron, and then I gave him a regular suplex. I held him in the air as long as I could. And then I put knees to his chest from the turnbuckle. And then I started taunting him. I told him that you were going to do all this and that, so come on, let's do it. And then he made this wheezing face. I told him he was a disgrace, and then I spit at him, and then he was smirking. And then I gave him a belly to belly. And then all of a sudden, before I could wait, hold on. Yeah. And then Seth was just outside, and then he leaped off the rope. He wiped the blood away. He got off onto the apron. He gave me a flying knee to the side of my head, which I felt and I still feel today. That fucking knee to my head was atrocious.
Oh, he used to do that all the time.
That was rough. He really connected on that one, and I think it was my fault because I didn't see him coming at all.
Did you get a concussion?
No, thankfully not. I thought I did. I was laying there and I was just seeing bad stars and shit. You know how you close your eyes and you see all those little funky ass stars? Yeah. That was me. That kick fucking hurt. And then so Aaron and Seth, they continued their brawl. Aaron was giving him some stiff ass forearms. When I rewatched this match, those looked epic. And Seth was getting destroyed. His whole face at this point was just completely bloodied. And then Aaron gave him this cool ass power bomb, which changed.
Alan taught me how to do those forearms before the match. He taught me how to do those. That's why.
Those look epic.
Right?
And then,
Those forearms feel nice, don't they? When you do them.
Yeah, when you do them, yeah. I don't think Seth expected it because he was.
It feels good doing them, but they don't feel good taking them.
Yeah.
man, this match was cool because we were all like, we made it look real.
Right.
A lot of people said this match looked real. Like we were all beating the shit out of each other pretty good. Especially Seth and Aaron. I think they deserve a singles match after this match because they were really, their acting was like A+++++. Anyway, I finally got up. I really felt like I had a concussion at this point, but it was just a headache. Thank God. I can't stand another concussion. I'm a bitch when it comes to concussions. I don't know how people can get multiple concussions and still wrestle.
Right.
I have had 2 concussions in my whole life, and I don't want another. I'm deadly scared of those. So Aaron tried to pin Seth, and then I pulled him off, and I tried to pin Seth myself. And then me and Aaron started to go at it, and then me and Seth were in the corner, and Seth's ass was in my fucking face after the move Aaron did. It was not pleasant. And his ass like crushed into my face. And anyway, after that, Seth gave him an attitude adjustment. And then I went for a flying clothesline, and then Seth hit me out of nowhere with a fucking pedigree, and he knows how to do that pedigree pretty good.
Right.
I remember when he first started doing the pedigree, it was a little sloppy, but he's actually perfected it. When Alan told him to stop doing the pedigree, I remember I was there backstage. And Seth still kept doing it against Alan's word, and now he actually does pretty good. And then I bounced up, and I really oversold the pedigree. I don't know how someone bounces up after the pedigree, but I did. I made it look good. And then he gave me a fucking super kick. I wasn't expecting that again. And I died. Like, Seth, his kicks are fucking vicious. And I kicked out of the pin by touching the rope with my leg. And then Aaron, all of a sudden, I hear a table thumping against the ring. He got 2 tables. He put 1 in the ring. And then I was laying there. My forehead was all red, and it felt like it was rug burned.
Those tables weighed like 1,000 tons, dude. They weighed like 1,000 tons.
Yes. And then I tried to get my shit together as I laid there, and then as Aaron rolled in the ring, he whispered something to me, and then I just nodded. I don't think the camera picked that up. And then he started shoulder thrusting Seth, and then all of a sudden Seth came out of nowhere and gave him a power bomb to the table, which I thought was sick because I was just getting up, so I got to watch that. I tried so bad not to mark out. And then I set up a table, and then I slid in the ring, and then as soon as Seth turns around, like, the fans were already bugging out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I give him I super kicked him, and he sold it perfectly because then I caught him, and then I threw him off the ropes, and then I ran to the other end of the ring and gave him a belly to belly outside of the ring through that table. And
I heard that. Oh.
Seth just he sold it perfectly. He died.
He did. Oh.
And then I knew this was my moment, so I rolled out of the ring. I looked at Aaron first, and I gave him a shit-eating grin, as I like to call it. And then for some reason, Sin Cara was there, sitting ringside. And so I took his chair, and then I told Aaron I was going to get rid of him for good. Medical came out and threw up an X for Seth. And then I started smacking the chair off of your medical fucking fixed shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
As you were telling me, come and get me, son of a bitch. And then I really did come and get you.
Those chair shots were real, by the way. Those are all real.
Yeah, I didn't want to do them, but he told me backstage just make it look real. Even do them if you have to. I was like, nah, man, I'm not gonna actually do them. Just sell it. You're like, no, do them. I was like, oh man, I guess. So I did it about 7 or 8 times. They closed up on it. They did a close up on his kids' faces, and I kid you not, even his kids are good actors because they were like, no, what are
Right?
you
They
doing?
did
They're
really
like,
good.
stop, Hayden, stop. And then so I kept giving him the chair shots, and then I looked down, and Seth was getting, evacuated from the ring, and Aaron was down, and then I was, I was being such a good heel that even my hometown crowd was silent and arguing and booing and doing all this shit. So I hit Aaron with a bloodline, and then all of a sudden Seth just starts John Cenaing his way off the stretcher, and the crowd was booing me, and they were throwing drinks at me. Someone threw their fucking wallet at me. I don't know
That's
why they would
I
throw their wallet.
I saw a condom wrapper fall off your shoulder, man.
Yes, I didn't realize that, but thanks for clearing that up. I felt something weird hit me, but I wasn't paying attention to what they were throwing at me. Besides, some guy threw their wallet at me. I don't know why.
Oh, I think the ref took the money.
The ref picked up the wallet. I don't know if he gave it back, but someone threw their Mountain Dew at me because they threw it at my shoulder and it exploded. And I was thirsty, so I licked my shoulder, you know. And then Seth came back down and he was doing his stumbling and kicking his feet around. So I'm starting to get a sore throat here. And yeah, so I started beating on Seth again. Uh, Seth called me a useless motherfucker, but the camera crew, they can bleep that out, but they can't bleep out Aaron's or Anthony's naked body. So I think the camera crew really wanted to see his ass, wanted everyone to see his ass. His ass is shaped like a heart. I don't know why. Anyway. Me and Seth got into a little punching war, and then I kicked him in his gut, and I flinged his body into the steel steps. Me and Seth were really going at it. Well, I was giving him the work, pretty much. And then I threw him in the ring, and then I looked around. I was really savoring the moment because Seth and Aaron, they were injured, and so I was just walking around the ring, playing it off. And then I put Seth into a crossface.
This was an
And
epic. This was really good. This was
yes, it was.
like sometimes you gotta peek at the Tron to see what's going on. That's what I did. I peeked at the Titantron, and the way the cameraman set it up, it was like, oh, that was just one of the best moments like ever.
Yeah, they showed the
captured.
fans bugging out when I was giving them the crossface. People were throwing shit.
Woo, that was just. Oh, I was like, I heard everybody was flipping out backstage. Anthony was like,
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard everyone was really into the match.
yeah, Anthony was like, Hayden's the best heel of all time. I'm like, okay, Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony, like when I got backstage, he gave me the speech. He was like, "Paul Starr be damned, Alan Snyder be damned, Psycho Matthew be damned. This is the greatest heel." And I was just blushing, of course. But anyway, Aaron comes out of nowhere and breaks up the submission. He gave me this powerful ass headbutt that made my headache even worse.
That hurt for me too. Ugh.
You could have just given me some light headbutt, but no, you gave me some powerful ass.
I was on adrenaline. Okay, it happens. I was on adrenaline, man.
And then I picked up Aaron and I threw his shoulder first into the steel post. We didn't plan that. I just thought of it because he told me to do whatever I wanted to his shoulder. So I threw him into the thing. I don't even know how that felt. You can tell us after. The medical dudes from earlier started checking on him, and then Seth all of a sudden he gave me a fucking curb stomp. I didn't even know he had the fucking energy to do that. But I sold it and he pinned me, and then I just picked him up and threw him off me on some Solomon Grundy shit. And and then I gave Seth a big ass hero ender and he kicked out. I was surprised. I thought that was gonna be it. And then the crowd, they started losing it. They got hyped. They went from booing me to all hyped because like there was people crying, there was people yelling, there was people throwing shit at me. and then I put my arms in the air because I didn't know what to do at this point. And then he was rolling away. The blood was getting everywhere on the mat. And then Aaron just came out of nowhere, and the fans were singing "Power."
That was good to
What
hear.
the hell? And then I started boxing with the turnbuckle. I was like, these two must actually want to fucking die. So I was boxing with the turnbuckle, and I actually destroyed the turnbuckle pad.
Look like George the Animal Steel just been into it.
And then I picked up Seth and I threw him in the air, and I wanted them to fight again. And then he just caught Seth in a chokehold and started coming towards me. I didn't know what to expect. So I was like, "What are you doing?" I said that out loud because I didn't know what his angle was. And then all of a sudden he grabs me into the chokehold, and then I'm in the chokehold, and we're just all in a chokehold. So Aaron falls down and gets us both into a rear naked chokehold, while Seth is getting me into a fucking crossface. I'm in pain because I was taken by surprise from this, so I started elbowing Seth's rib as hard as I could, and then I like the inner Alice Tetch virus in me. I broke out of it, and then sorry, my throat. Then I picked up Aaron, and then I got him in the ropes, and I clotheslined him out of the ring, hopefully getting rid of him for good, which is what I thought. But then I picked up Seth, and I did this cool move where I told him, I said, I can end your whole career right now with a simple brain buster on some Kid Cash kind of shit. But then I dropped him, and then I looked him in the face, and I said, I need you around for the Rumble. I was basically selling it like I need to beat Seth to solidify that I'm the greatest WWE champion of all time, and so I need him around for that. I don't need to be facing some random ass person at the Royal Rumble. I needed to be facing him. So I gave him a bloodline, and then again he kicked out of it, and the fans were just going off at this point. So I gave him 3 more bloodlines, and then I covered him again, and then Aaron came out of nowhere and did some fucking 630 splash right onto me. So I bounced off of Seth, but then I kicked him out of the ring.
I didn't mean to do this. I didn't mean to do a 630 splash. By the way, I didn't mean to. It was by accident.
I looked over my shoulder waiting for your frog splash, and it was a fucking 630 splash.
I literally tripped, and it just happened. I thought I was gonna die.
How do you trip into a 6?
I don't know. I thought I was gonna die.
Woo! And then he screamed some Japanese at me, and so I was looking at him. They were rooting hard for Aaron at this point. I think they were ready for an Aaron WWE Championship run with his destroyed shoulder. And then he slapped me across the face, and then he told me I was just a character. I was a little boy still, and he's always going to be here to expose me. And then he punched me in the nose, and then like my nose started to bleed a little bit, and I felt that, but in my mind I was stumbling, but I was just standing there. I was just standing there I meant to stumble. Like I meant to stumble back, but like I just held my nose because like you punched me. It's fine. And then I told him that he'll always be one step behind me. And then I put him in an arm breaker, and then he got out of it quick as hell and lifted me up on his shoulders. He went for a doomsday drop, but then his shoulder gave out, and then he let go of me. And then I looked down at him, staring hard into his eyes, and then he just started saying, "No, you're not going to walk out of here WWE champion. I will die before I let that happen." And then I looked down at you, and I was like, "Aaron, well, I guess you're dying." And then I gave him a hero ender on the mat, and then I put him in a Kimura lock, which Brock Lesnar taught me how to do before this match. And let me tell you, when that man, don't ever learn something from that man, because he'll actually do it to you. He won't teach it to you. He'll just actually do it to you until you get the point. And that's why I have this nice little brace on my arm, because of that the Kimuras he was giving me. Anyway, that's besides the point. I had him in the Kimura lock, and I told him, I said, all right. I said, listen, you can tap, You don't have to do this. You choose either tap or die. And then he told me to go to hell, you son of a bitch. This was a really great moment, honestly, watching back at it.
Yeah, I watched it back too. This was really good. Like just how
Pretty
slow it
intense.
was. Like oh.
Yeah. And then I put the lock in harder, and I made it look like I popped his shoulder out of place. And then I kept it in until he tapped. And in my head, I was pretty scared because I knew I did something to his arm. And then the ref was looking down, completely scared. Like they zoomed in on the ref's face for some reason, and the ref looked like someone killed his mother or something. And then Aaron tapped out, and then my theme shot through the arena, and then I got like, these are the biggest boos I have ever heard,
Right?
like ever heard.
Ever for any heel, any like just ever.
And I was in my hometown, and like people were just booing me like rapidly, and I felt good. I felt good after that win. I grabbed the title. I rose up with this smile on my face, and then I said, "Cut the music." I grabbed the mic. I kicked Aaron out. I brought Seth back in so that we can immediately start our one-on-one feud for the Royal Rumble, which is going to be a nice old TLC match, which I can't wait for. And then Anthony Chowder, he came out in his suit and tie hours hours after destroying Allen because we did this match the next day.
Mhm.
He was clapping for me, slapped me on the ass, kissed me on the neck. And then in my head, I'm like, wow, I wonder what you and Ashley must do alone. I felt bad for Ashley at that moment. Anyway, I told Seth, I was like, that leaves you and me if you can even compete. I said some keywords here. I said, but to compete with me, you're gonna have to sacrifice everything. Are you willing to sacrifice everything to meet me in Miami in a TLC match at the Royal Rumble? And I put the mic to his mouth, and then Bret Hart, Chavo, Kali, and AJ Lee. I don't know why she was there. He walked down the ramp clapping as they joined me in the ring. And then Seth, he said, anywhere, anytime, any match, you're on. And then he slapped the mic away. And then all of a sudden, someone threw a burger at me and it slapped me in the face, made me hungry. And then a Alan Snyder themed dildo hit me on the head. It's a dildo with just Alan's face on it. I don't know what people be doing in their off time.
That's awkward.
Yeah, you saw it. Everyone saw it. I swear to God, it was an Alan Snyder dildo. Like the head of it was literally Alan Snyder's head. Like, and then I tried to ignore it. I tried not to laugh. I told Seth Rollins that I'll see him there. I dropped the mic, and then me, Butch, Chavo, Bret Hart, and fucking AJ Lee left. That was a mouthful. My theme blared again, and then we cut to Aaron, and it was a pretty sad moment. He was laying there, you know, some tears were shedding out of his eyes. His kids were looking all scared in the background, and we closed the show with Aaron getting stretchered out. So and the WrestleMania sign was fading away too. So it was kind of a cool moment. Aaron was getting stretchered out while the WrestleMania logo was fading away, which resembles him not being able to compete at WrestleMania and his WrestleMania dream of winning the WWE title on the main stage, which if he won it here, he would have brought the title into WrestleMania maybe. Or all these questions appear after the show, and the show ends with that. I'm still the WWE champion. It was a great match. I enjoyed it. What do you guys think? Wow, that was a lot to say.
Alan, you can go first.
This was definitely the match of the night for me. A lot of emotional, deep storytelling in this match. Each of the competitors giving it everything they got, and at the end, it was just it was too much for for both guys, and Hayden ended up winning. And I think that I hear you chuckling in the background. Anyways, I just think Hayden is definitely is like out there now, like really, 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 really out there now when it comes to being a heel. And I think there is more great moments for Hayden to come in his run. And I think that Seth and Aaron will definitely bounce back from this. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I think that at the end of the day, this triple threat match will go down as probably one of the best triple threat matches in the history of this business. And for that, I'm gonna go above the rating system. I'm gonna give it a freaking 7 out of 10.
All right. So I just want to say a few notes here. The first time the shoulder thing happened, that was literally just me popping out of place myself. It didn't actually pop out of place like on its own until Hayden did it with the Kimura lock. That's when it actually first time it actually popped out of place. So yeah, it was really yeah, some of those shots were real and it did kind of hurt. I thought I sold it pretty well, to be honest with you. I was just channeling the first time it happened at WrestleMania when it first happened. Um, I don't mean to sound hyperbolic because you guys know I hate hyperbole, but yeah, I think this match really cemented Hayden as just like the best heel in this generation. Like, I mean, obviously you had Paul Starr and Psycho Matthew, but they didn't uh, do anything like this. They didn't like beat the two top stars of the company by themselves and like absolutely demolish both of them, like literally injured both of them in the span of the same match. Like they've never done that, at least not without help, because they've had like Exodus and the Psycho family. This really cemented Hayden as a legit WWE champion and a force to be reckoned with, even though I already thought he was a legit champion. The heel work by Hayden in this match was insane. Just like the gauge, the gauging of the fans, the rallying everybody up, the working me and Seth, and it was so well executed and well timed, and me and Seth just reaching out to each other, trying to help each other, because going into this match, you figured it was going to be a handicap match, but then it was just a complete slaughter. um, it was a complete bloodfest and everything. Working with Seth in this match just made me want to have a singles match with him where we could go longer and like do more. Um, he's a really good guy to work with, to be honest with you guys. Uh, he's probably the best wrestler in this match, Seth, because just the way he does like the super kick, he did the super kick and the pedigree, just the way he flows moves together is like insane. I don't know how he has reaction times that fast. It's definitely not that CrossFit, even though he tries to be like, oh, it's CrossFit. No, it's not CrossFit. What is CrossFit? Just a fancy term for yoga? But yeah, it was so surreal working this match. At one point when I rolled out the ring, I could just hear JR screaming,
Yeah.
screaming. JR was going off. I was like, all right, JR, everybody can hear you, man. And this one girl flashed at me while I was on the ground. I was like, okay. That was really weird. Glad the camera didn't pick that up. AJ tried to hop the barricade and check on me. The security had to put him back down. I was watching the Tron as I was outside the ring to see what Hayden and Seth were doing, and there were some really good camera angle shots. Like I said, Hayden did the heel work really well. This was probably the highlight of the match, just how good Hayden was playing the character and playing the bad guy to get your own hometown booing him. I couldn't hear, by the way. I couldn't hear, like, at the end of the match. Not only was my head ringing, but not only was my head ringing, not only was my arm in pain, but I couldn't hear because the crowd was, like, you actually had to be in the arena to hear how loud they were. They were, like, so loud, like, it was like a sonic scream was going through that arena. This is the way
Yeah,
they
Seattle's pretty fucking loud.
like. I was like, damn, this was like Hulk Hogan WCW times 10. I was like, what the hell? I was really trying to hear. I was trying not to laugh when I saw the Allen deal. I was really trying not to laugh when I saw it fly right past me and into the ring. I was like, okay, what was that? I was like, what was
Literally,
that?
I tried so bad to ignore it. Like I had to walk out. I had to like slide out of the ring.
um, me and Seth did a little thing after the match. Once I got backstage, obviously I just got off the stretcher and did the hugging stuff with Anthony and Alan. And Anthony gave us all a speech once Seth got back. He gave Hayden a bunch of kisses, saying I'm proud of you, cuzzo, and all that. And yeah, Alan was like checking if I was okay. I was like, yeah. Alan kept asking me for like the next 2 hours if I was okay. I was like, yeah, yeah. Nobody was asking Seth if he was okay though, which is weird. Cause Seth landed on his head. It was asking if I was okay. Are you okay? Are you okay? Yeah, yeah.
Remember we talked about that? Me and Seth, we talked about that happening during the match. You two were fucking some daredevils because you guys wanted me to do the most. You were like, yeah, re-injure my shoulder that forced me to retire, and Seth's like, yeah, send me right through the table on my head. I'm like, oh, okay, guys, okay. I hope I don't kill you guys on accident.
Oh, Alan was kind of upset when we got backstage. He didn't approve any of that. We didn't go over any of that with him. It's like we rehearsed the match earlier, and then we sugarcoated it, like what were we actually gonna do, like in the rehearsal. It was just Hayden kicked me in my shoulder lightly, and I just oversold it. And instead of dumping Seth out the ring, he lightly threw him into the corner, and Seth held his head a little bit. When we got to the actual match, Seth's head actually went through a table. So Alan just gave us a dirty look when we first got backstage.
When we got backstage, it was lit though. Like
Yeah, you had
everyone was just
there.
flipping out.
Freaking Harvey Bullock had like like a bottle of whiskey just walking through everybody. I was like,
Oh
what?
my god! He handed me the bottle of whiskey, and I just started chugging it down.
Everybody was
Jim Gordon
backstage.
said he was glad that he joined the company because of stuff like this. He said he couldn't wait to work with me. Oh my, the backstage area was lit after the match.
Okada was backstage. I was like, what? Where did everybody
Oh yeah,
come
he
from?
scared me because I turned around and he was just right there.
Okada was there. Al was just giving me the dirty eye, giving me and Seth the dirty eye. And yeah, overall, I don't, but Alan can do it, so I can do it. Yeah, I'm just gonna give it a 10 out of 10. That match was really good. Probably the best match I've been in. Probably the best triple threat match ever. Most fun. Like, damn. Like, everybody was texting me after that match. Like, all these old legends were giving me praise. Like, freaking Jake the Snake Roberts was giving me all this praise. Scott Hall was talking to me. Kevin Nash came up to me. JBL said he would. JBL said he would. I'm not gonna repeat what JBL said, but Antonio came up to me, like everybody was texting me and coming up to me, and I was like, I think we did a good job. That was a good match.
Stone Cold said that back in the Attitude Era, he would have loved to feud with me because he said like a lot of people were just applauding me on the acting and the moves and everything. I was just like, guys, I'm just trying to get to my hotel. I got this sick ass headache. And literally everyone backstage was stopping me and yelling like, "Oh, what a good match! Wow, that was amazing!" And like I'm just like trying to push through everyone. I'm like, "Yeah, I think you gotta go. Yeah, I think you gotta go."
Oh shit. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Whew,
Man,
hey,
overall, that was great.
it was a hell of a show.
It really was.
That was a really good show. Really good pre-Royal Rumble pay-per-view right there.
Yeah, with these new bookers that came in just like 3 weeks ago. Yeah,
Right?
they're
This new,
they're they're really going off.
this new writing team that Anthony and Allen hired, or Anthony hired without Allen's permission.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Alan, what do you think about the imposter Hitler and Joseph?
No comment. I plead the fifth.
Plead the fifth, huh?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
If you really want something out of me, I am gonna say one word: doofy.
Well, hey, I didn't thank you this time.
No, you didn't.
I was just trying to go, like, I had this sick headache, and, like, every single person was just trying to stop me, and everyone was inviting me out later. I was like, nah, guys, come on. Everyone was partying in that arena till very late. I couldn't sleep.
Even the rain
Yeah,
crew started partying.
after you guys pretty much came back and I gave Seth and Aaron the dirty eye, I pretty much went to my hotel and went to sleep.
I couldn't sleep.
I mean, it wasn't like that I wanted to sleep. It's like I was just hurting so bad that I just wanted to sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was up all night. I'm telling you guys. I was up all night after that. I couldn't sleep.
Me and Aaron were playing some good old WWE after. Because I texted him, I was like, man, I can't sleep. He was like, nah, me either. And we were just up.
Yeah, that was No More Heroes, guys. That was 10 out of 10 pay-per-view right there. Loved it. Loved every second of it. Even the Joseph Stalin stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you have any opinions, just hit us up. Tell us.
I just have one more thing to say before we leave. Heroes.